What's poppin' internet? Snuph here from Dirty Earthlings with another edition of the Rapper Report Card. On this episode, we take a look back at the report cards we've done so far and update some of the scoring based on your feedback, some of my homies' feedback, and me just rethinking some of these. So sit back and enjoy as we review the 2023 report cards. Please be sure to like and subscribe so you can be notified when new report cards drop. Also, don't forget about our $50 gift card giveaway at 200 followers. We're almost there, so make sure you've liked at least one video, commented on at least one video, and you must be a subscriber. We'll pick someone at random for the grand prize. Doom was the first person to get a 4-point average on Rapper Report Card. With the exception of Big Scoon, there really weren't many that disagreed with his scores. We won't be rescoring any of Doom's grades. They'll stay as is with an overall rapper GPA of 4.08. Sean Price graded out at 3.66, but no one would really know that because even after 3 months, that video only has like 80 something views. By far the lowest viewed report card that we've done. With the views being so low, there really wasn't much feedback on his grades. So similar to Doom, we won't be updating anything on P's report card. It'll stay as is with an overall GPA of 3.66. But go watch that video and then let me know your thoughts, please. Go show that poor video some love. Next up we have Tupac. This one was definitely controversial and it got me yelled at several times in the comments. There wasn't a whole lot of pushback against Pac's grades specifically. A few folks pointed out that I didn't mention Me Against the World and Machiavelli, but I do factor in the rapper's entire catalog, even if specific songs or albums aren't mentioned as examples. A couple people called me a hater, but didn't really explain why, and then one person said I wasn't alive when Pac was around, which is funny because I'm 42 years old and have been rapping since before I was 10. But again, they weren't specific about what they didn't agree with, so I don't really have a basis to change any of the grades. The only grade I could potentially change would be the impact on the culture grade. I gave Pac an A+ already, and if I could, I'd give him an A++ for impact. But since that's not a real grade, we'll just end up keeping everything as is. 3.25 overall GPA for Pac. There wasn't really a lot of pushback on the Eminem report card. Those that commented appeared to pretty much agree with the grades, so we'll move on from this one. No adjustments for M, 3.83 GPA. The most common feedback I got from Wayne was about his wordplay grade. I gave him a B+, but after reevaluating, I could go A- here. I really don't think it's an A, and definitely not an A+, but I can see how his wordplay would deserve to be in that A range, that A tier. Now a B+ and an A- are actually worth the same amount of points though, at 3.5, so his overall grade won't really change because of the update. Still landing at 3.41 overall. Kendrick is another person that I didn't get a lot of feedback on, so I'm taking that to mean there wasn't much need to reevaluate anything. This is another one where we won't change anything, so his GPA will stay at 3.5 overall. The only real feedback I got on DMX would be related to his impact on the culture grade. His stage presence was brought up, him being in movies, etc. I already gave DMX an A for impact, and I still feel that's about right. I'm not convinced that it should be A+. I think he is just a slight level below the Tupacs and the Biggies of the world, who would be examples of A+ for impact. Overall, I think I'm going to keep X's grades the same. Not enough specific feedback to justify updating any of the grades. He'll stay at a 3.16 overall GPA. Biggie is another person I didn't really get a lot of feedback on in regard to his grades. The homie mentioned that if Big was an A+ for impact, then what would that make Tupac? And it still makes him an A+. Once you get to that A+ tier, it's all just the highest you can go. I mentioned earlier I'd go A++ for Pac's impact, but at the end of the day, an A+ is an A+, and I still think Biggie deserves to be there. Someone else told me the whole report card was wrong, but didn't mention any specifics, so I'm not really sure where to go with that one. I'll be leaving Big's grades as they are. totaling 3.16 for his overall GPA. I got a lot of pushback on Scarface, specifically his beats grade. It was pointed out that he made most of his and the Ghetto Boys beats, and that should add more weight to the grade. After some thought and reflection, I can generally agree with that, so I don't really mind updating his beat grade. I originally gave him a B for beats, but I think there's enough to bump that up to a B+. His creativity was also mentioned, but I really feel like the C+ I gave him was accurate. After going back to his catalog, I still don't believe he was in the B or A tier for creativity, especially when you compare it to those that are in that higher rank for that one. Ultimately, with the added points, he gets a new total of 19.5 points, divided by the 6 categories would give him a new overall GPA of 3.25. My Nods video got a lot of love, with the second most views after the Tupac report card. Most of the feedback was positive and agreeing with the grades, but there were a few that wanted a rescore. The most common was vocabulary, with the majority of people saying it really needs to be an A+. I gave him an A for vocabulary, but there were some good points made, so I can see bumping that up to an A+. The second most common bit of feedback I saw was that creativity should also be an A+. That one I don't necessarily agree with. I gave him an A for creativity already, so it wasn't like it was a low grade, but there were others that presented more creativity during their careers, and there has to be a place for those guys. People like Busta Rhymes and MF Doom are A+ for creativity, and Nas doesn't quite stack up in that area in my opinion, so the creativity grade will stay as an A. The other feedback I saw was that his beats should be an A+ as well. This is another one where I already gave him an A, but there are a few people that edge him out and they have to have a place to go. If everyone was an A+, then there wouldn't really be any real separation. I think an A is fair for his beat grade, and actually even some argued it should be lower, which to me is just crazy. I'm not going lower than an A. With the added 0.5 points from the vocab rescore, he now gets a whopping total of 26 points. Divide that by our 6 categories, and he ends up with a new rapper GPA of 4.33. Still the highest grade by far, and so far, actually makes him the GOAT based on the scores. There wasn't a whole lot of feedback on the Drake grades. The feedback I did get thought the vocab grade of C was too low. They suggested an A, but I don't think I can justify a jump that big from C to A. I can see going up a bit though, maybe to like a B-, so I don't mind updating that. The other point was delivery. Some actually thought I graded it too high as an A. I really do believe that with his recognizable and iconic voice and his ability to ride beats, that an A is deserved for his delivery. I'm not a Drake fan personally, but he can definitely spit. I think I'll keep that one the same. With his updated B- for delivery, he now gets a total of 18.5 points, which when I did the Drake video, I actually miscounted, and that's actually what he had before, even though it should have only been 18. So his overall 3.08 GPA ends up staying the same, though we did bump that vocab from a C to a B-. Most of the feedback I got on Bus's report card was saying that it was pretty accurate. The homie Marlon Murray 6344 is saying he should be at least an A in every category, and while I can kinda see some of that, I really don't know if Busta should be higher than the 3.91 he already ranked out as. Anything higher than that would put him in the GOAT discussion, and I really don't think he should be in that discussion necessarily. Or maybe he should. I don't know. You guys let me know if Busta Rhymes should be talked about more in that category. Maybe we're just sleeping on him. Maybe he should be considered the greatest of all time. I don't know. You guys let me know. For now though, his 3.91 GPA will stay the same. Lastly, we have Ludacris. Luda was another where I didn't get much feedback, so the few folks who did provide feedback seemed to agree with the grades. So his 3.75 overall GPA will end up staying the same. Alright, so that's the year-end rescores. Not many grades changed, and from the overall feedback, most of the grades were pretty accurate to begin with. There were some good points made, and I'm not afraid to admit I may have been wrong on some of this. See, the beauty of this is we can work on these together as a community, and those checks and balances will help us make sure we keep accurate grades on all of these categories. As always though, let me know down in the comments where I got it right, and of course where I got it wrong. Please be sure to like and subscribe so you can be notified when new report cards drop. Also, don't forget about that $50 gift card giveaway at 200 followers. We're getting close, so make sure you've liked at least one video, commented on at least one video, and you gotta be a subscriber. Then we'll pick someone at random for the grand prize. For Dirty Earthlings, this has been Snuph with the Rapper Report Card. Until next time, peace!